For today. This is SS031 Understanding the Self, and our lecture will be concentrating on the physical self. Our outcomes for today are the following. Hopefully, by the end of this lecture, we will understand the biological concept of our physical selves. We will analyze the impact of culture on body image and self-esteem, and hopefully, by the end of this lecture, we will be able to celebrate beauty in diversity. Bloom said, "You are imperfect, permanently and inevitably flawed, and you are beautiful." We are all imperfect, and sometimes those imperfections might be permanent and inevitable, and we are flawed. But those imperfections, those flaws, are what makes us beautiful. There is a pressure in our society to look good and to seek a visually better version of ourselves. We often get so caught up with ways that we can make sure that we look beautiful and nice that sometimes we frown at our natural looks, our dark complexion perhaps, or even our short stature. The social pressure of looking perfect gave rise to the many beauty products and enhancement procedures being patronized by a large portion of our population, no matter how expensive they might be, just to fit in, to be accepted, and be beautiful. Society where fairer skin and size 0 for women are deemed attractive, if not stunning, we can only expect ourselves to follow and abide by the mantra, beauty is power, no matter how destructive it might be for us. Our physical selves have become so dependent on the judgment of this appearance and not with the celebration of it. Here in this lesson, we will look at the work of nature and nurture and how it greatly influences the features of our physical selves, particularly how we look and how standards of beauty have affected our self-acceptance. We will also look into the different cultural standards of beauty and how it has affected our self-concept, our self-esteem and body image, and realize that beauty in all shapes and sizes is meant to be celebrated. Have you ever asked yourself, why do I look like me? Science explains that our parents are very much instrumental in understanding why we look how we look. Gregor Mendel first figured out how genes are passed from parents to offspring in plants, including humans. His experiments on pea plants show that genes are passed intact from generation to generation and that traits are not blended. This discovery was very important, and it says that it's through the genes that traits were passed from parents to offspring through several generations. Genetics definitely has a hand on our physical appearance. Our biology dictates that our looks are a result of the genes transferred to us by our parents. When heredity is actually at work, we find ourselves being the mirrors of our parents, which was the result of their DNAs at work in us, and for some, even looking like carbon copies of them. You see, there are different cultural standards of beauty. That's why defining beauty is contextual. As culture decides the norms of the society, its concept of what is beautiful is similarly invoked from a cultural perspective. According to Lakoff and Scher, beauty was not just a product of wealth, but a commodity in and of itself. In other words, it was no longer a matter of looking to wealth to find beauty, but of looking to beauty to find status. Now, beauty could give the illusion of wealth. This is from Lakoff and Scher in Face Value, the Politics. In the Philippines, the construction of local standards of beauty can be traced from our colonial influences. Skin color signifies the value of people in the society, where lighter-skinned individuals are considered higher in terms of social status, and therefore in the social rank compared to those with brown or dark skin. The question is, are you happy with how your society defines beauty? Take the case of Ford, and let us see from his experience the obsession of Filipinos with regard to beauty. Sanders' decision to alter his physical appearance was not without the pressure of the society to look good, if not better. He was not spared from bullying, since he became an internet sensation because by our standards, he simply is unattractive. Decision to go under the knife was because of a Lucas culture which dictates that happiness is only afforded to good-looking people. As our society puts premium to Eurocentric standards of beauty, we victimize our own people for looking otherwise. That's the reason why, because of these obsessions, there are a lot of health concerns that could trigger. Health concerns are foremost to be considered before going through these kind of surgeries. Yet, there are those who feel that there is always a need for them to alter whichever part of their body because they feel that they do not look beautiful even if you tell them that they already are. This perspective seems to be the case not only for a lot of millennials, but for those who are suffering from body dysmorphic disorder. Those who are suffering from BDD or body dysmorphic disorder are so obsessed about their appearance. Thus, they think about their flaws, real or not, incessantly and uncontrollably. Those who are diagnosed, those who are diagnosed with this disorder are very much preoccupied by a perceived physical flaw that is either absent or so trivial that only the one suffering from it sees it as a problem. Dr. Samuel Eric Yapwanko, the surgeon of Zanderford, said that today's generation want to be more pleasing, to be more beautiful. They consider that having a beautiful face and body is always an edge in most aspects of life, especially in getting to their chosen career, even though there are health concerns that should be considered. Perhaps at one point in our lives, we have been implicitly or explicitly criticized or even ridiculed for how we look. Our standards have become so unbearable that our society mocks us for looking imperfect. This has caused many of us to lose confidence in ourselves and break that one last strand of self-esteem that we have. That could actually trigger to anorexia and lead those health concerns to anorexia. Now, anorexia is defined as a serious mental illness where people are of low weight due to limiting their energy intake. It can affect anyone of any age, gender, or background. As well as restricting the amount of food eaten, they may do lots of exercises to get rid of food eaten. Some people with anorexia may also experience cycles of binging or binge eating, eating large amounts of food at once and then purging. Now, it can also be body shaming. Now, we know that body shaming is criticizing yourself, criticizing yourself or others because of some aspects of physical appearance, which has resulted in the loss of self-confidence of those who have been thin-shamed or body shamed. Now, those who have BID is an important aspect of several pathologies in psychology, particularly eating disorders. Now, body image disturbance has two components. The perceptual component, which refers to how we accurately perceive our body size, also known as body size estimation, and the attitudinal component, which refers to how we think and feel about the size and or shape of our body, which, if not correctly processed, will result to body dissatisfaction. Stice and Whitenton found out that body dissatisfaction is also linked with mental disorders, including depression and anxiety among adolescents. The advent of social media put pressure on us to look even better. On Instagram, we post our most physically appealing self, and more often than not, we use filter applications where we can hide our imperfections, creating and recreating a self that is better approved by our online. What is important is that we are able to embrace our physical selves, and this entails affirming each other regardless of our skin color, stature, and body mass index. We are supposed to celebrate the authentic us, where we do not need to hide our physical flaws and to resist the demands of our deprecating, image-driven society. You see, the significance of self-acceptance is necessary in embracing our physical selves. We have to be reminded that our health is foremost in all these. Remember that body size, shape, and skin color and stature are never correct indicators of a healthy life. Remember that as Psalm 139 verse 14 says, you are fearfully and wonderfully made.